Well, hey there, Brian Goulet here of GouletPens.com, here for episode number 77 of Goulet Q&A. It is May, 8th of 2015. I'm a little off with my time because I'm having to shoot Q&As all kinds of random times because I was gone last week and now I'm here this week. I'm gonna be gone next week. So I'm trying to keep it so that the Q&A stay continuous. Normally I shoot them like the day before that they publish, but right now, because I'm here and gone so much, I'm having to shoot them all kinds of out of order and stuff like that. So it's been a little kooky, but that's okay. I'm gonna get it all done. And so this is number 77. So been up to some stuff. I'm shooting this on Wednesday, May 8th. So you may see lots of pictures on Instagram and stuff like that of our team. I'm wearing a jersey today. This is like a knockoff off-brand Hokie jersey. It's number 7, but it just says Hokies on the back. It's no specific person or anything. It's team jersey day or like sports whatever jersey day. So we do these dress-up days every so often. You may have seen on May 4th, we had a bunch of folks dressing up in Star Wars costumes. That was kind of fun. So we try to keep things fun and fresh around here. Cool kind of culture stuff. And I literally, I had a meeting with like a vendor today and everything, and I just wore my jersey. So I was like, yeah, well, this is what you get today. So you're just happening to catch me on a dress-up day. So that's kind of cool because normally we do them on Wednesdays. I don't usually shoot Q&As on Wednesdays, so you're getting to see me in an outfit that you probably won't see me in very much. But anyway, so we just left, we came back, sorry, Rachel and I came back. We were on a trip to Disney World with our kids. That was a lot of fun. Rachel and I have been to Disney World a couple of times, and it's a place that we enjoy going very much. We can fly there direct. It's very kind of no hassle kind of vacation. We don't take a lot of vacations. There's a saying of the self-employed that says, thank goodness it's Friday, only 2 more days of work. Rachel and I definitely live up to that saying most of the time, but we are trying to capture a balance in our life a little bit more in 2015, and part of that was this little family vacation. So it was great. We went with our kids for 5 days. It was the perfect amount of time. Our kids are 3 and 5, so everything's magical. Everything is fun. You know, they're out of diapers and all that, like we went last time, and that was an event, but now they're out of diapers, they're potty trained, and everything is good. So it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time. And it was warm in Florida, so that was really cool. So we've been up to some, oh yeah, and then related to that, because we were gone, we really didn't we didn't bring our computers or anything. We checked our email on our phone here and there, but really our team just kind of took care of everything while we were gone. It was pretty awesome. So we're trying to delegate more. We're trying to train up our team and get them, really rocking and rolling. We just got such a great team here. We really do. Starting to really see some of the dividends of a lot of the leadership and delegation type stuff that have been so focused on in the last couple of years. It's really starting to pay off. Our team is getting more and more empowered every day, and it's really just cool to see. Just as a entrepreneur, as somebody who's built up a company like this from scratch, it's just really rewarding to be able to take a little bit of time off and even have some drama go on, but have everybody be able to take care of it on their own. So it's really cool. Anyway, related to products and stuff that we've had going on this week, we got in Pelikan Edelstein Amethyst, which quickly sold out, but we're getting more. That's okay. We got shorted a bunch of it. They just, they didn't get as much in as they were hoping into the US. So we will have more of that coming at some point, but it's really cool ink, so I'm excited for that. TWSBI 580 all in purple, which is really kind of nice. It's a lavender kind of purple. It's not as bright and vibrant as the orange one was, so it's a little more subdued, but it's very nice. And then we launched the Lamy All-Star and Filofax notebook package set, which is pretty sweet. We're going to have a video coming out on that sometime soon, probably next week at some point, but should be pretty cool. It's a phenomenal deal. It's an All-Star with a small Filofax notebook. Essentially, it costs $2 more than just the pen itself, so you're saving almost 12 bucks on that set. It's really phenomenal, and it's exclusive to us. So we, made that happen. It's pretty cool. Pen comes with a fine nib too, which is also kind of cool, because normally Lamy likes to package up all their package sets with medium nibs, but we were like, no, fine, we want fine nibs. So that was pretty cool to make that happen. We also got J.Herbin glass pens back in. For those of you who's seen, I have a very old J.Herbin glass pen video where I have my Ocean Spray 2010. Those of you who have seen it know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a super old video, and some of the pens, like we're not going to carry the small glass pens anymore. We got the big ones, and we got some other ones that are they've come out with since then. But it's the best video we've got for the moment, so it's up on the product page. But you can go check that out if you want to see one of the earliest videos that I shot. It was like March of 2010 or something like that. It was a while ago. But that's okay. So it was kind of cool. And so we got glass pens back. We had them in. We had some quality issues a few years ago. We discontinued them because a lot of them just weren't writing properly. They've fixed all that now, and they are back. They've been back for a little while, actually. We just didn't get back into it yet, but we thought it was time to bring them back. And you know, we have the Roller and Klingner glass pens too. They're kind of similar to those. Maybe write a little bit finer, maybe not. I don't know. The glass pens are kind of inconsistent, so I hate to say like, oh, they write smooth or they write wet. It's really hit or miss. They're all handmade and they're all a little bit different. So it's a different kind of writing experience. But the nice thing about glass pens is you can use them for dipping for ink testing, especially if you're doing samples and ink drop and stuff like that. So that's where they're really cool. So we got those. We did restock on the Lamy CopperOrange ink. We got more than we thought we were going to get, which is good, but this is the last shipment. We've been told by Lamy, like, there is no more ink. This is all there ever will be. So if you're interested in that CopperOrange ink, which is a phenomenal orange ink, go ahead and get it now, because once it's gone, it's really, really, really gone. And then the last thing coming very soon is the Midori Pan Am. I think we're going to be launching it next week. That's the blue regular size Midori notebook. It's got some accessories as well. Should be pretty cool. I haven't seen it in person yet, but should be cool. So look out for that. We just finished kind of a gauntlet of new products. We usually have a big launch of new products that come in the spring. It's kind of like, we call it like our second holiday season, because the holiday season, all this new stuff comes out. There's a lull in kind of January and February, and then like March, April, May usually kind of picks up. So we actually kind of just went through a lot of that. But boy, let me tell you, we have got all kinds of things. Rachel and I are having conversations right now. We've been meeting with all different manufacturers, vendors, stuff like that. And we have so many possibilities for other things to get into. So we're just kind of like pumping the brakes a little bit right now, because we've come out with so much new stuff. We're going to take a breath, and then we're going to get a whole bunch of new stuff. So that should be kind of cool. In content-related stuff, definitely check out the Monday matchup from Monday. It's really cool. Noodler Zhivago, which is a hard ink to do. Adam from our fulfillment team really stepped up to try to get that done. He did a great job with it. It ended up being on May 4th, which is a Star Wars. He very subtly tied in a Star Wars theme. It was pretty cool, so go check that out. And I think I've got a question about Monday matchup in this Q&A, actually. And then launched a video, which many of you will have already seen, or if you haven't, you'll definitely want to go check it out. We turned up the cheese factor quite a bit on this video, the top 7 level up pens. A lot of times you get asked, hey, you know, I got into fountain pens, I got the Metropolitan or the Safari or whatever, preppy, but what do I do when I want to kind of step up my game in fountain pens, that next pen? So I really kind of went with that. I think my pen selection is pretty good, but the montage that I do in the video, and I'll just leave it at that if you haven't seen it, the montage that I do is pretty fun, so go check that out. All right, so questions for this week. I'll start out with pens and writing after I take a sip of water. All right, first question. Joven Chiew on YouTube said, I often see people referred to the Pilot E95S style of nib as inset rather than inlaid. The inlaid is supposed to be integrated as part of the section fused together as a single unit. Is that correct? Yeah, I mean, we're getting into some pretty nitpicky terminology here. I believe that is correct, though. You know, there is no like Webster's dictionary of fountain pen things, but I guess if there was, Richard Binder has a website with a glossary of fountain pen terms that is very exhaustive. So if you go and check his site, richardspens.com, and you find his glossary, if you actually look up in there, he has both inset and inlaid in there, and references to each other on there that basically says kind of what you've said here, which is an inlaid nib is a pen like the Waterman Careen, for example, or the Schaefer has several inlaids, and not a lot of pen companies are doing inlaid nibs these days, but it's basically where the nib is like fused onto the grip of the pen itself, and it's like on top of there. It's not kind of shoved into the pen like most fountain pen nibs. The E95S is a little bit different. It looks a lot like that, but the nib itself is actually removable. It's not fused and connected to the body of the pen. So you can actually remove it out of the pen, and that's the difference. It still is kind of inset looking, except that it's not actually fused in there. You can remove it for cleaning and, you know, maintenance, and I wouldn't really recommend pulling it out of there that often, but I think it's, sorry, not cleaning, I think repair is more of the issue. So if the pen ever needs to be repaired, Pilot could swap that nib out if they really needed to for some reason. But the E95S is a phenomenal pen. Inlaid or inset, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a great writing pen, and it's a really, really good experience. So I had my Waterman Marine. I have the E95S here, obviously, because we sell it. My Waterman Marine, I left it at home, so I can't actually visually show it to you right now, but sorry about that. But I think that you are correct in that glossary terminology. All right, next question on YouTube. This is from Justin Reinsma. How are cross pens? I've picked up an Aventura from the store close to me, and for 40 bucks, I'm not sure if I've scored a good deal. That's a great question. Cross is actually one of the pen companies that I just don't know a ton about, to be quite honest with you. However, I guess this can kind of be an official announcement or whatever. We are going to become Cross authorized retailers. We're in the process of doing that right now. They had actually reached out to us a couple of years ago, and we had a lot going on, and we get asked about Cross, you know, but Cross is much more widely available. You can get it at a lot of Office Maxes and Office Depots and stuff like that. Cross is definitely like a much more like pervasive pen brand in the American, you know, culture, I guess. Mainly for their roller balls, but then that kind of translates over to fountain pens. So a lot of people, if they go to an office supply store, chances are you're going to see a Cross fountain pen there. So that is a way a bunch of people get into it, but as a kind of a boutique seller, we don't get asked about it very much. So we never really like hard pressed to go after Cross. I really don't have a lot of experience with Cross up to this point. We have had some meetings with them. They've showed us some of the product line, and I don't think all of it's going to be a slam dunk for us, but we're going to kind of pick and choose and hopefully rely on some of you for feedback as well. But we are going to be expanding in some capacity into Cross. And really the catalyst for that is that Cross bought out Schaefer. Schaefer was owned by Bic, believe it or not, ironically, but Cross bought Schaefer. So now Cross is going to be distributing Schaefer pens. So if we wanted to continue to offer Schaefer pens and ink, we needed to be set up as a Cross authorized retailer anyway. So it's like, all right, now that we're already going to be set up as this, we might as well look into their pens. And once we started to dive in a little bit deeper and look at them, we were like, oh, these are actually not bad. Okay, so you know, I haven't heard much good or bad. I heard there, you know, that some of the models are okay, some of them are not as exciting, but we're going to learn all of that ourselves. So we're going to order a bunch, try them all out, play around with them, and learn a little bit more about that. So to answer your question more specifically here, Justin, I don't know about the Aventura. Just off the top of my head, I can't say whether or not that's a good deal at $40 or not. So I really can't help you too much in that way, but I will say that I hope to learn about that a little bit more, and then obviously as we look to carry some of their pens, I will be shooting some videos and such to educate you a little bit better in that way. But I'm really hoping to kind of solicit some feedback about that. If you have used Cross pens, I would love to know, so you can leave it in the comments on YouTube or on the blog. I'll read it, chat it up, and that'd be great. So I'd love to hear what you say about that. And the last thing about Cross is that actually, the way that I originally knew about Cross, funny enough, way before we even got into fountain pens, we were carrying the hand-turn pens that I made. They were all roller balls. And all of the screw cap hand-turn pens that I had, I would buy the long Cross gel rollerball refills. So actually, I was making pens and using Cross refills in my pens. So I had a lot of respect for the way that Cross pens wrote, because it's the same refill they use in all their rollerball pens. So now that we're dipping our toes in the water a little bit with rollerballs, that's certainly something we could consider as cross roller balls. I mean, now you're talking about something that's definitely widely available, but they have a lot of custom like imprinting options and stuff like that. So I've definitely like toyed with the idea of like, well, we could get into like doing like personalized stuff or corporate orders or whatever. It's not anything we're like hard pursuing right now. I'm not even sure that we're going to do it. I just know that we will have the capability to do it with cross, whereas we didn't have it before. So it's something that it's like, it's on my radar. I'm an opportunist, so I always want to think through like, is this something that's a values alignment and is on brand, and you know, is something that you know, our customers would want and all this kind of thing. So you know, just be aware that that's going to be an option. You can always reach out and ask, and we can try and figure out more whether or not that's something we can help you with or not. So that's that is the deal with cross. Next question I have, and this is a good one. I really like this question. Dr. Wes Lindsay on Twitter asked, my fiance has beautiful handwriting. Can't get her to use a fountain pen. What's your best pitch for a fountain pen skeptic? And this is a good one. And the reason I like this question, first of all, because I kind of like the challenge. But secondly, because I'm going to answer it in a way that you probably don't expect necessarily. And I'm going to nitpick a couple of words that you have here. You said you can't get her to use a fountain pen. So when I think of use a fountain pen, I think of you're bought and sold on it. Like you have a fountain pen, you are using it continuously, as opposed to try a fountain pen. So I'm going to distinguish a little bit there. So maybe, I don't know the full like nature and intent of your question. It's only 140 characters on Twitter, so I know you didn't have the chance to really give me the full context. But I am of the personal opinion that you cannot convince someone that they should use a fountain pen. And I know it's going to sound weird with me saying that, but the reason I say that is because people who are into fountain pens are into it for their reasons, not yours. So they have to really understand the value for themselves. They have to make the decision and be bought into it and really fall in love with it. That said, as a fountain pen evangelist, if you will, it's your duty, or whatever, not duty, but you know, it's your role in that capacity, if you want to try to get somebody into fountain pens, is to get them to experience some of the benefits of using a fountain pen. And for me, that has to do with a smooth writing experience, so going with a nib that's a reliable, smooth writer, educating them just a little bit. Once they've started to show interest, say, okay, well, here's a couple of pointers. You hold the pen, you know, this way, and you write like this. Try and get some decent feeling paper and get them to experience how smooth a fountain pen can feel, number one. And then the second thing is to try to get an ink that really gets them going, an ink color that they like. So for your fiance, if she really loves whatever, purple, then try and use a purple ink. Ink it up if it's a favorite color of yours, or if it's the color, you know what? You're engaged. If she's chosen her wedding colors yet, get an ink that matches one of the wedding colors and she will love it. Okay, so that's the angle to go. Get an ink sample, get a couple ink samples of the colors, and you can say, you know, honey, you could use an ink that exactly matches our wedding colors. Wouldn't that mean so much? There's your hook right there. So anyway, that's the way to do it, is to get people to find interest in themselves. Me personally, the ink is always what draws me in. And then the smooth writing experience is another thing. And then obviously there's aspects of the pen, the nib size, the personalization of you get to choose a pen that feels good in your hand and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's getting kind of deep, and that can be kind of overwhelming if you get all into it. Just try to give her a really good like intro experience into using a fountain pen that you know is going to be positive. Don't try to hard sell with all of the what I'll call the like deeper aspects of it. Like, don't bust out your pen case of 50 pens and say, oh my gosh, these are all pens, and don't like totally geek out with somebody new, because it's entirely overwhelming and it's going to make them feel like they're not, you know, like it's either like too much, or they don't want to get into it that much, or like they're going to have to learn everything about this to be able to appreciate it. Keep it really simple, you know, just get them to enjoy the experience. And then if they are turned, you know, if they're, I was going to say turned on by that, but that's probably the wrong context given your situation. if that you know, is appealing to them, then what you want to do is you want to go a little bit further, a little bit deeper into the conversation. Say, oh, if you really like the ink, you know what? Here, show them the swab shop on our site. Say, look at all these different ink colors. You can really pick and choose. And you know what? They have permanent ones too. So, you know, and then you can get a little bit deeper and stuff like that. That's the way to do it. Don't just blurt out all this crazy information. I know there can be a tendency with someone, if you're especially somebody like your fiance or significant other, if they're like, oh, you're crazy pen thing, if they show any slight bit of interest and you just like completely just like open the floodgates, you're gonna just overwhelm them and they're gonna shut the doors. So just, you know, give them a little tease, get into it and say, oh, well, that's cool. You know, if you want to borrow a pen, that's totally fine. I've got others, you know, just write with it for a little bit or whatever. But I would think that, you know, if she likes to write a lot, has good handwriting, then you could probably work that out and make it happen. And then that would be the dream. If you get her into pens too, oh my, then you are definitely going to be in pen heaven, because you'll be able to enable each other in your hobby. And of course, maybe that won't be a good thing. Maybe she'll pump the brakes just in that way. But you know, if it doesn't happen, that's okay. There's going to be a lot of compromises that you'll have to make in your marriage. So don't push it too hard. But if she wants it for herself, I think you'll be able to help her make it happen. All right, next question. Tim F. on Facebook asks, I'm a vegan, so I don't use leather at all. I have the Monteverde case to store my pens at home, but I'm still searching for a solution to toss 1 or 2 pens in a case and in my bag for the day. Any ideas? Would you consider stocking non-leather pen carry options? Totally. The best option that I have for you to consider is Nock pen cases. We are trying to retail their stuff. They've been, you know, ramping up production, trying to get established to be able to sell to retailers like myself. Right now they're selling direct, so I'm more than happy to throw your, you know, recommendation or your business over their way. It's run by Brad Dowdy and some other good folks in the pen community, so definitely support them a lot. They use like a ballistic nylon material, so I think you'll be cool there. As far as your vegan you know, things go, I don't think nylon is has anything to do with anything. So you can definitely check that out. I don't know if they have like a single pen option. I was looking at their site to see what their options are. I know they have like a couple pen options, but I think they've got some smaller things that, I mean, definitely smaller than that big Monteverde pen case. So I think you'll be able to find something pretty cool over there, and they got lots of colors and lots of fun stuff. I'm really excited to carry their stuff. I'm just kind of waiting for the, you know, hey, we're ready for you kind of thing. The other option I can say, I don't have any other specific brands in mind. All of the other pen companies and stuff like that we're affiliated with, the only pen carry option they have is leather stuff. So I can't really help you that much there. One thing I can say is if you want alternate pen carrying things, check out Etsy. Etsy has all kinds of handmade things. You can see stuff out of like denim and all kinds of other like fabrics and stuff like that. You know, that could be a good option for you. So, you know, it's something that's going to be a little more one-off kind of thing, because it's going to be a smaller kind of person that does like, you know, knitting and sewing and that kind of stuff that you might be working with. But you can probably find some pretty cool stuff over there. So go check that out. And last thing is like going with the Etsy thing. If you're handy at all, you could definitely make something of your own out of some kind of denim or you know, knitting or something like that. So that's another option for you. So check those out. I got one paper question this week, not a ton, but this question is from Mike C. And Mike says, I volunteer at a nonprofit. We use Steno pads for a lot of work. They're not fountain pen compatible. Do you know of any that are? So for those of you that don't know, a Steno pad, also it looks like Steno, S-T-E-N-O, it's Steno. That essentially means a top-bound pad. So you flip over like that, as opposed to a book that you open up with the binding in the middle. It's a flip top kind of thing. So all the options I have are Rhodia and Clairefontaine. Those are the only things that I have for you. And there's a lot of different ones. It's like I have like 40 different products that are top bound like that. So I'm not going to list all of them right now, but I will tell you how to get to them. So if you go to gouletpens.com, you go up into the main menu bar and you hit paper and then you click notebooks. And it's going to take you to the notebook page. And if you go into the sidebar on the left, it's going to have, I just realized that your left is over here. It's my right. There you go. On the left, you're going to see a lot of different things that you can click. There's a subcategory over there called binding orientation. And if you hit top, if you click top on the binding orientation, it's going to give you every notebook that we have that has a top binding on it. So there's some staple bound options, there's some wire bound options, lots of different sizes to choose from, but everything is going to be Rhodia Clairefontaine. All the paper is fantastic, so they would all be great options for you. Just depends on what size and whatnot you're going for. And then Rhodia even has some pad holder options too, if you don't want just a notebook. I mean, these covers are fairly durable, but if you wanted something a little more protected, you could get a Rhodia pad holder that has a notebook too, and then you could, you keep the pad holder and swap out the notebooks if you're really kind of plowing through them. They're definitely be more expensive than regular Steno pads that you're probably getting from wherever you are, but the paper is going to be a completely different kind of experience. And the last thing I want to mention about that is that if you have any type of pad holder, anything that you're currently using, maybe don't expect that these ones are going to fit into it. Rhodia Clairefontaine does everything in European sizes, so unless you happen to have a European size pad holder or something that can accommodate that, you might stick out a little bit on the bottom because these tend to be a little bit longer, a little bit narrower than the American sizes. So something to consider there. Got some business questions this week. Business, so this is from Kenneth McGeechan on YouTube. And Kenneth asked, is there any Goulet employee that is still using a ballpoint pen? Well, not if they want to keep working here. I'm kidding. No, I'm not ridiculous about that kind of thing, especially because, like, I'm not a dictator, right? Like, I'm a leader, so, if you want to go and if you come and work and you use fountain pens, great, and you don't use them at home, that's fine. It's very reasonable. But basically everybody we hire here is people that have never used fountain pens before. You might be surprised to hear that, but I actually like when people don't know anything about fountain pens. Number one, we can teach them everything from scratch, so we can teach them the Goulet way, if you will. But number two is it gives you a level of empathy of being kind of thrown in the deep end, not knowing anything, feeling very overwhelmed, and then being taught how to use all our tools, how to do everything, and then you almost have like a feeling of conversion as a Goulet team member here when you come on, because it's so overwhelming and everybody else here knows so much about it, but we all get together, teach, learn, you watch a lot of videos and all that kind of stuff, and then you know what it's like to be on the other side. So it makes you much more empathetic, especially for our customer care folks, our community coordinators and people who are like more directly interacting with front-facing customers. It's a huge empathy builder, not knowing anything before you come in here and then learning it all. It really changes your kind of experience. So that said, we do give everyone a fountain pen of their choosing, up to a certain dollar amount after they've reached their 90 days here. So we have a 90-day intro period, and once they've kind of made it through that intro period, we kind of present with a fountain pen in the company meeting, and it's kind of like a little rite of initiation, if you will. So we do definitely strongly encourage all our team to get into fountain pens. We also like the 90-day thing because when you first get here, it's like, oh, I like that one because it's blue, but after being here for that amount of time, you're able to get kind of oriented and see, oh, okay, this is the pen that I really kind of want. And it gives them a feeling of like, oh yeah, I can't wait till I hit my 90 day, I get that pen, that kind of thing. And we also do free ink samples for all of our staff here too. So that's definitely a perk of working here. So a lot of inkophiles we end up with here. A lot of inky fingers. That is definitely something that is not a rare sight around here. So we definitely encourage our staff to get involved into that. A lot of them really do, especially customer care and our media folks really get into it a lot. And then I know I don't know of anyone who uses like ballpoints regularly, but I know we have a lot of conversion over to Pilot G2 roller balls, because that's what we use a lot in our warehouse for writing on like cardboard boxes and just other things like that where fountain pens really aren't as ideal. The G2s work really well. We're definitely big Pilot G2 fans around here. So that I think is for somebody who doesn't like use fountain pens for everything, the G2 is like the new baseline. It's like I really, like me personally, like I'll use a roller ball, but it's got to be like a G2 or a Lamy roller ball or something that like writes really nicely. But like going back to like a Bic stick type, nothing against Bic, but like that 10-cent inexpensive ballpoint pen, really just does not interest me very much. I'll do it if I have no other option, or if I like leave my pen in the car and I'm signing a receipt or something like that. I'm not going to go out to the car to get my fountain pen. You know, I'll be reasonable, but I definitely have my preferences as well. And I know most of our team kind of feels that way. All right, Todd L on Facebook asked, how many people are entering the Monday Matchup giveaway each week? Do you find it fluctuates depending on what is offered? Just wondering what my odds were of winning. All right, Todd, you actually can figure this out yourself, so that's okay that you asked me. But yeah, if you look up the hashtag Monday Matchup giveaway, you can see how many entries that we're getting every week. You can just count them up yourself if you want to. But it really varies a lot. So let me give some context for those of you that don't know what that is. We have something that we've done for quite a while now called Monday Matchup. Every Monday we take a pen, take an ink, match it up. One of our amazing team members here will do some kind of artwork to whatever they feel inspired to do that relates, that relates to whatever is relevant in their life or some holiday or something that's relevant, whatever they want to do. But they use that pen and ink. And then once they've used that pen and ink, it's kind of showcasing the ink and the pen, and Sarah does a great job photographing it and everything. And then what happens is we have this inked up pen that's been used and all that stuff, and it's like, well, we could sell it as on the bottom shelf or use it or whatever, but we were like, oh, you know what, it'd be really cool if we just gave it away. So it's become a regular thing now ever since, you know, Monday Matchup number 14 or 15 or something like that. We've been giving it away every week, and it's really cool. And what I really like about it, okay, yes, we're giving away stuff. That's always exciting. Sure, you love free stuff. I get it. That's part of it, but it's not just to give away free stuff, and it's not just to try to hook somebody in with a contest, whatever. What I really like about it, and it's only run through Instagram. Like, we do the Monday Matchup posting through the blog, and we put it up on Facebook too, but the contest is only through Instagram. And I know, if you're not on Instagram, it's like, it's not fair, da 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 da. I get it, but look, it's only through Instagram. Reason is because we are really like Instagram. We're trying to build an audience over on Instagram. There's a lot of activity. Our Instagram growth has been pretty phenomenal. We're just about to pass 8,000 followers on Instagram, which is pretty cool. So that's been really exciting to see that growing. And Instagram is very visual. That's why we really like it. So what we do as part of the contest is, for you to enter, you got to tag us and all this, and it's got the full rules on the posting, but each Monday around noon, we'll post our Monday Matchup contest with the posting that has our Monday Matchup for that week. And then you have 24 hours from that point, approximately, to do your own Monday Matchup and post it and tag us and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, obviously, we like it because you're tagging us and you're sharing it out to your crowd, and hopefully more people will discover us. Yes, okay. So we're giving away free stuff. Yes, it's not purely out of the goodness of our heart, because obviously we want you to share it, and that's part of the whole deal, right? Like, that's why social media exists, is to connect people. So we like to be a part of that connection. But I also really like it because I'm seeing more now than even a couple of months ago. A lot of people are tagging each other, and it's like, hey, check out this Monday Matchup, and and like tagging each other even on each other's Monday Matchup entries. So people are putting a lot of effort, and we choose a random winner. Like, honestly, whether you do a tiny little writing sample or a full piece of art, like, we love to see the beautiful full pieces of art, but that does not impact your odds of winning. It's really just, as long as your entry, you're doing what we ask you to do, it's just a random number generated kind of thing, and we choose it, and that's it, you know. And then we try to feature like some of the best artwork that we see. But that's not related to the contest. But we really like it because we're seeing that it's generating conversation, it's connecting people, it's something exciting to do every week. And I know we've talked to some folks who really enjoyed it and say that it gives them something to look forward to using their pens every week. And it gives them something to think about what they're going to do for this coming week and all that. And even though it doesn't impact the contest necessarily, it still is really great because they get to enjoy, you know, just something exciting about their pens and part of the community. And building that community like that is definitely like mostly the goal of what we're trying to do there. That's really what it's all about. And then there's a contest and all that kind of stuff. So that said, I've said all this stuff and haven't even answered your question yet. So thank you, Todd, for being so patient. Basically, it varies a lot. So you kind of asked, does it fluctuate? Yeah, it totally does, depending on what's offered. If we're offering a Noodler's pen, okay, it's a $20 pen. If it's an ink that's relatively inexpensive, we'll get a good number of entries. But you know, we've done some where we did like a custom 74 or an E95S or, you know, a gold nib pen of some kind. We don't do those quite as often because they're more expensive. But when we do those, we see a lot more engagement. So obviously, the more valuable the pen, or the hotter, the newer the pen. You know, we did a CopperOrange one, got a lot of entries there. So those we'll see a little more activity. But in general, I would say it's averaging around 150 entries each week, which is a lot. In my mind, it's just like, wow, that's really cool. That's really impressive that people are that engaged and having that much fun with it, really. So statistically, whatever the odds are, 0.75% or somewhere thereabouts. So yes, okay, it's better than the lottery. But if you're going way out of your way and it's a huge inconvenience, okay, it's probably statistically not worth it for you, but that's really not the goal. Hopefully it's something fun that you get to do. And honestly, the entries don't have to be that intense. Just as you're writing throughout the week, you can just, you know, whatever pen and ink you have, you can just write it, snap a quick cell phone picture, save it until Monday, and then just post it on your Instagram on Monday after we've done the contest. It doesn't have to be like you have to inconvenience yourself and clean out a new pen and ink it up and do it on Monday after we post it. You can save your picture and do it, you know what I mean? Like do that kind of thing. So it's a lot of fun. We really enjoy the contest. We plan to just kind of keep it going until we see that it's not fun anymore. I don't know when that would be, but it is kind of cool. So it does fluctuate quite a bit. I think the record that we ever hit was something around 250. I think that was relatively recently when we did. That might have been the E95S or a Falcon that we might have done or something like that. Like when we did those, it really spiked up quite a bit. But you know, usually around 100, 150, something like that is about where it is. All right, next question. Po L on Facebook, and this is a good question. So I had a lot of people, you know, like this one on Facebook. I would like to ask you, will you consider adding an option, do not include a sticker and bookmark in my package for Goulet customers? I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. I love it when I get it for the first time I receive the package. However, when I keep purchasing from Goulet, I get more and more stickers and bookmarks. I don't want to throw them away. Okay, I get that. I really do, especially if you are, you know, a frequent orderer. We have done some things with that, like we used to only have one style of bookmark for like a while, and it was to the point where somebody was like, I have like 14 of these bookmarks, like please stop sending them to me. I get it. You know, the honest truth is the bookmarks are not super expensive for us to do, and the amount of time it would take to like, you know, have drastic changes in our process as opposed to including it in each one, like financially wouldn't make a lot of sense for us. And we get a lot of new customers, we really do. So we like to include them in most of the packages because they are really useful and helpful. And we get some people that ask us to include extras, you know, so it really kind of varies a lot. I get what you're saying about like having an option like on the website to click like don't include this in there. The only thing, well, first off, that would be a custom like design feature thing that we'd have to pay for, and you're talking buku bucks for any type of custom development. We just went through that with a whole website build, trust me, and now we're getting to the point like we're finishing out our original statement of work still from our website, and that would be like an additional build kind of thing, and there's like minimum blocks of time we have to pay with our developer and stuff like that. It's getting into all kinds of things, but like we need to like add up a whole bunch of things and then pay for a chunk of time and then have the stuff developed out. So little things like that, we got to pay for that kind of development, and it's more expensive than you would think it would be. But then the other thing that I'm not like quite as crazy about as far as the checkbox option is we have a lot of new customers, a lot of people that browse our site. We don't advertise anywhere that we do the bookmarks and stickers and stuff like that, or Tootsie Pop or anything. So we like that to be kind of like the initial experience for a new person. And having a checkbox that says like, don't include this or whatever, we would get a lot of questions as to like, what is this? What do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to confuse anybody and take away from that experience. So what we will do though, and you're more than welcome to do this, is we've got a order comments field when you go to checkout on our site, and you can leave a comment in your order comments to say, look, I'm good on bookmarks, please don't include any in my order. You know, it's that kind of thing. I realize it's not as convenient as just doing a checkbox or something, but you could literally say like no bookmarks please or something like that. It wouldn't take a whole ton of time. And then our team will know, they'll make note, we always read the order comments, we'll make note of that and know not to include it in there. You know, and if somebody accidentally does, like, trust me, we ship in a good number of orders every day, and if somebody accidentally throws a bookmark in there, please don't get upset. You know, and they are recyclable too, so if you feel bad throwing it out, it can be recycled, so there's always that. So just something to consider there. So, and the last thing is, you know, they are marketing pieces, so if you have too many of them, you could always just hand them out or give them away or stick them in books at the library or something like that. I don't know, maybe not that. They might get upset about that. They might consider that like littering or something. Literary littering, there you go. But you know what I mean, get creative, give it to your friends or something like that. Obviously I'm gonna say that because that would benefit me and my company, but you know, you probably wouldn't wanna do that and that's okay. But that's all right. So those are my options for you. All right, I got some personal questions that I'll round out for this week. No ink questions this week, no ink. I got some other ones that are saved up for next week, but. JNT on Facebook says, what fountain pens does Rachel prefer? Her top 5 or 3 or whatever everyday carry pens, and why? And her favorite inks. I might have mentioned this at some point before, but you know, it kind of changes. She gets new stuff, so I'll go ahead and talk about it again. I asked her last night as I was prepping these questions on the sofa at 11 o'clock at night or whatever. I was like, Rachel, what are your favorite pens at the moment? She loves the Pilot Vanishing Point. She's got a couple different versions of that. She really likes that. She's got one in Raiden, of course. She really likes that a lot. So that one's really cool. Functionality is great, and she's got a broad nib on that one. She has a TWSBI 580 all. She had one in the orange that she really liked. Now she's using the purple. She's digging the new purple one. So she likes that one a lot. I'm waiting for the blue. The blue one's the next color coming out. That's what I'm going for. And then Lamy All-Star too, she said. And I was kind of surprised by that because I don't see her using that one as often, but I think she likes to use that one a lot. So there's that. And then her favorite colors, she gave me 4 of them. Right now she's really hot on Diatramentis Magenta Violet, Diamine Blue Velvet, which is one of the 150 anniversary colors, it's an awesome color. Pilot Iroshizuku Sutsuji, and then Diatramentis Mint Turquoise. That's definitely one of her favorites right there, Mint Turquoise. That one's been in her rotation for a while. And there you have it. Cathy F on Facebook asked, while you were gone, Margaret asked us all about what pens we carry when traveling. So which pens do you and Rachel take to the happiest place on earth? Or which pens did you take to the happiest place on earth? So obviously, you know, Cathy here kept up with us going to Disney World. Rachel didn't actually take any pens. You know, we really tried to leave work at home, and with Disney, they have the magic bands now, and I think I actually have mine still in my thing here. Yeah, here you go. Ta-da! Little plug for Disney there. So it had the magic band, so you don't have to like sign receipts or anything like that, really. She really didn't do any writing. We had our 2 kids too, so a lot to manage there. She really didn't like sit down and have time to write or anything like that. So she didn't take anything. I did take some stuff. I took, and I think I might still have most of them in my pen thing. Let's see here. I have, let me pull them all out. I kind of pared down my selection. Normally I carry around a lot of pens, just day to day, but I decided I didn't need to take like 15 pens down there. I only took 6. So the pens that I had, first one is a Lamy Charcoal Safari Rollerball, because that I just kind of like to always have handy. The one that I ended up using the most was a Custom 74 in Smoke Fine. Really digging the Fine lately. The blue medium is definitely like my favorite, but the Fine I really like for paper that I don't know what I'm running into. Keep Heart of Darkness in there too, so that works well. So a fine pilot nib with Heart of Darkness, pretty good to go on most paper. I have a Lamy 2000 with a medium nib with copper orange in there, and then I have a Faber-Castell Ambition. Okay, and this is a pen that I don't carry on our site, but it's one that I am considering carrying. So if you're interested in that, it's a very thin pen, so I'm kind of getting that experience a little bit. The grip is a little weird because it's got this tiny little grip and there's a kind of a harsh step, so I'm not sure like how 100% in love I am with that. I've been using it for a while. It's definitely workable, but the thing that I like about it is the snap cap and the extra fine nibs on the Faber-Castells are great. And it's a lighter pen than some of the other ones. So I am still feeling this one out. And I've got this one I actually have cartridges in because I'm trying to get a feel for cartridges. I think I've got PR Electric DC Blue cartridge in that one. And the thing that I like about the cartridges is I take this pen with me when I'm traveling so that I can keep one cartridge in here, and I keep a backup cartridge inside the pen because they're standard international short cartridges. And I am able to, you know, always kind of keep a reserve little bit of ink. It's not always practical when I'm like going out and about to carry around a bottle of ink. So the cartridges can work well in certain situations. Then I have a Pilot Metropolitan with a fine nib, and I am forgetting what ink I have in here. I believe it's Noodler's Blue Eel. And then I have a Faber-Castell Basic with an extra fine nib as well. And I'm trying to remember what ink is in it. I actually haven't used this. I think it's running out of Diamond Majestic Blue at the moment. Or Diamond Midnight, that's what it is. Diamond Midnight. So there you go. That's what I took down to Disney World. What I ended up using the most was the rollerball, and then the rollerball I use, the book that I read while I was down in Disney is actually one that is going to be, I'm going to this leadership summit next week. So I read a book by Dr. Henry Cloud, Boundaries for Leaders. It's really, really good book. Really good. So I was marking it up like crazy. So I got like highlighting, and I do like these little annotations when I'm reading about like things that I want to think upon more, or quotes that I want to use, or when he references other books or, you know, other authors or things that I want to like research and check up on. I'll highlight them and then I'll kind of mark them with those annotations. Book paper is really hit or miss as to how well it's going to do. That's usually when I'll start to turn to a rollerball, especially one with a snap cap like that. It's very convenient, especially because when I'm reading like this in a hotel type situation, it's not always super practical because like my son got like a little Lego set because there was a Lego store down in Disney World. So we got a Lego set, which was great, except that we ended up having Legos all over the hotel room, and he took over like the little desk area, and there were Legos and everything, and I was like, great. So there was like a little chair in the hotel, so I just like read in the chair. So when I have like a pen that's like on me and I'm like dropping it and stuff like that, so I would use this in the book, and then I would use, as I was kind of thinking through, because I was thinking about like some business things while the kids were napping or after they'd gone to bed, I would stay up a little bit. And I would take notes on the book as I'm reading, and if it would spark ideas about things I want to talk to with people in our company when I got back, I made notes of that in my Filofax notebook, and the paper in there is significantly better than what's in the book. So I could have used the rollerball on that too, but I'd like to use fountain pens. So that's when I would switch back to the Pilot. So there you go. That's our story. Excuse me. Here we go. I think that answers everything there. Last question I have is from Keith W. on Facebook. And his question is really not a question, it's more of a statement. He says, Brian, tell us about your bike. And I've been asked about my bike before, so as I was riding my bike this morning, I just grabbed my cell phone and shot you a quick little selfie video showing you my bike, so I'll go ahead and flip over to that and let you see a sweaty and tired Brian Goulet as I'm telling you about my bike. So I just finished my morning bike ride, and I wanted to show you my bike. This is, I don't ride every single day anymore. I used to, but it's getting harder as the kids are getting a little bit older, but I still try and squeeze in several rides a week. So my bike of choice here, I'm more of a distance rider, so I wanted a frame that was more distance-y than racy. So I have a Fuji Grand Fondo 2.0 that I bought in 2014. Didn't really get a choice of paint color. I would have preferred blue instead of red, but that's okay. It's still an attractive bike. It's got a Shimano 11-speed Ultegra gear set on it. I've got gator skin tires because I hate getting flat tires. And I had to replace the seat post because my legs are so long. I maxed out the seat post that came with the bike, so that was awesome to figure out. And I got various like blinking lights, and I got a little saddlebag there so I can have my spare tires and stuff when I get flats. I got a little pump on the side there. The Camelback Water bottle there is fantastic, best water bottle I've ever used. Got a little blinking light here in the front so that oncoming cars can see me and so on. You know, it's got the built-in gear shift kind of thing. For those of you who are not super into bikes, that is kind of a must for a road bike. And then I've got a little computer on there that tells me my speed and distance and so on. I've got the clip pedals as well, so I got my little shoes that I've got here that just kind of clip in. That's kind of cool. And then you go bike shorts, and got my nice blaze orange outfit here so that you can see everything when I'm out there riding and cars can watch out for me. So that is my bike. So there you go, that's it for this week. Hope you had a really good week. I will be shooting a Q&A for next week. I'm actually planning on shooting that on Friday, which is when this video is going to publish, but it's not going to go out for the next week, so it's going to be a little bit kooky, but it's okay. I still want you to ask Q&A questions in the blog and on the comments and so on, and I will just save them and then answer them for the following week's Q&A. Okay, so everything that's going to be in next week's Q&A are going to be questions that have already been asked by the time this one's been out, so still continue to ask them, just realize they might be a little delayed by the time I actually get around to them. The question of the week for this week is a good one that I'm excited to hear about. What is your pitch for when you're trying to get someone else into fountain pens? I'm very curious to hear what your sales approach is. Not sales necessarily, but I'm very curious to hear what your approach is to evangelizing the way of the fountain pen, and what are your biggest fails and what are your biggest wins in that way. I think that would be kind of fun to hear you talk about. So I hope you have a good week. I will be kind of not as available as normal next week, but I will be making myself available to my team here and there. I will be deep in leadership land, trying to focus on, you know, running an awesome company, and I won't be as hands-on with the pen things, but I will be grabbing some of these and taking them with me once again. And then I won't be traveling as much after that for a while, so you'll see me around a lot more. But hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great weekend and a great rest of your week. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like this and you want more like it. Check out GouletPens.com for all these wonderful products that I've talked about here today, and ride on.